Hello, everybody. Welcome to Clear Minds and Self Healing. My name is Aso, and I appreciate all my subscribers. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you can join us on this channel. I upload content every Saturday morning around social sciences, topics, and really everyday relationship, healing, empowerment, and self reflection topics. The purpose is so that we can really use those messages and reflections for personal awareness so that we can grow, we can be resilient, and we can be more empowered within ourselves so that we can be able to deal with external challenges better. We use everyday examples that are around us and also methods of intervention from social sciences backgrounds for this reflection. Today, I want to use a short story known as The Madman from a Nigerian author, Chinua Achebe, who is really renowned for years and years to come. And his work and words are really impactful and endless. Now, in this story, just to give you a context, there are two extremes that are depicted, and that's what I want us to reflect on today. Madness. What does that mean? Who in this world, in today's society, is classed as the mad one? Because we all have our moments. We all have those things that we act on without foresight. And then we either reflect on or even fail to reflect on in passing. So here's how it goes. As the setting starts, there is a mad person wandering about in rags, fully clothed, picking stuff off, trying to fend for themselves, or going about mad in the society where madness is really looked down upon. And then there's the world-renowned, world-capable to look after themselves, educated person who is enjoying a quiet bath in a pond in the bushes in a quiet, remote place, which is clearly affordable to them. Now, along comes the mad person and gathers their clothes in this pond. Whether it's private or not is potentially irrelevant in this story. But the mad person picks up their clothes and takes off running in the direction of the village square. And then out comes the man in his relaxation pool, stark naked, chasing down the mad person into the market square, screaming, "Stop the mad person, stop him, stop him. He's got my clothes." I mean, whatever paraphrased. You get the narrative. So the question here is, who is the mad person? Because as the villagers turn around and take in the scene, the perceived mad person is the renowned, educated, well-to-do person who is stark naked running into the marketplace. Whereas the mad person is fully clothed, having a giggle, and taking you out of your pool, out of your location, out of your intended outcome of relaxation, and full-on stark naked chase. So pull up a chair and let's have this reflection around this topic. You see, very often we strip ourselves naked of our values. We strip ourselves naked of our relationships and of the focus of our dreams as we chase endlessly down what sort of lanes. We chase the hurters, we chase the haters, we chase the ghosts of yesterday and everything that we've experienced. We chase the anxieties and the uncertainties of tomorrow. And we go down endlessly these lanes, mile after mile, shedding clothing after clothing of our health, of our identities, of our values and morals as we chase those meaningful chases. Whether or not you're right or wrong in that chase is not valid anymore. By the time you end up in that market square naked, screaming, being stared at as the mad person, it no longer matters how valid that chase is. There is hurt everywhere. There is health. There is struggle. There is poverty. But we must seek that strength, that reflection, that mindfulness to seek healing and wellness above everything that's right but potentially hurting to us. Because we shed our emotional clothes, we shed our spiritual clothes, we shed our identity clothes, we shed our relationship clothes as we seek to get back those pounds of flesh from whoever is running away from them. And that is to a certain extent where self-hate comes from. Because one day you wake up and you look yourself in the mirror and you detest that person that you're staring at. How far away from the location of their sweet relaxing pond they have traveled. And when you dare to look back from those miles, to look back at where you are, at how clothed you are, at who you're chasing, you can then be brave enough to ask yourself, whose outcome is it that you seek? What is the purpose of those clothes that you're going to collect from that mad person? Is it to hide your nakedness that you have already brought into the marketplace willingly? Because at some point of that chase, the mad person is no longer the one hurting you. And all the consequential hurt that you've experienced along the way has to a certain degree come from you. Your inability to show that restraint. Your inability to be perceptive in that moment and to seek an alternative solution for that problem that has wrongfully been created for you. Because had a well-relaxed person sought some other ways or other routes to get home with their nakedness, they may have been exposed to less people than the marketplace incident. Whether your toes are ripped apart by the chase, whether you catch pneumonia from the cold, and all the other consequential implications that we experience along the ways of our chase. The revenge, the discrimination, whatever you're experiencing, whatever the community or the society or the government or the family or the partner puts on you. And this is really tricky because you have to stand up for yourself, because to a degree, when you fight for yourself, you feel empowered. And this is where it becomes tricky. But how long do you run down that chase? How many miles? Because that's what we're talking about here. The fact that if you look in your life right this minute, you will find something that you've been chasing rightfully. But it comes to a point where you stop and you take stock and you say to yourself that this is an invalid chase. It's not giving me the positive outcome that I seek for my life. It's taking me further away from my relaxing pond. It's exposing my nakedness even more in the marketplace than it was before. Because now you find that you're incurring emotional health problems, mental health problems, financial health, like every other consequence of what you're putting yourself through that piles up above that initial intended discrimination is then something that you could have potentially avoided. And that's where reflection for self-awareness and self-healing and self-empowerment comes in. There is so much that is going to be available to distract you, to instigate you, to pull you away from your intended well-being, your intended goals, happiness, peace of mind. And resilience is recognizing your weaknesses, recognizing your triggers, recognizing those people who come to incite and instigate you to derail from your purpose, and rising above. That's what's resilient. That's what's empowering. And that's what's creating a peaceful environment for you. So, this is just that empowering word that helps you to practice the act of rising above. That helps you to start to define madness from your own practices, our own practices, my own practices, your brothers and sisters and relationships. All of us are guilty of this. Half the time we run down the road 10 miles without stopping to ask ourselves how fruitful that chase is for us. Yes, we've been wronged. Yes, we will continue to be wronged. But we are making the decision to only run and sprint in the directions where our well-being is housed, where our goals, our happiness, and our peace of mind are housed. Because if we start to chase love, center, and right at all those distracting issues, people, we will never gain peace within ourselves. So as you reflect on this message, please share with your brother, share with your sister, share with your partner, and encourage them to stop half mile down the road and turn around shamelessly and go back to their happy, peaceful pond and figure out what leaves they're going to cover themselves with to go home in the alternate location or direction. We must not let the mad people of the world push us around. We must recognize our own seeming maddening acts sometimes, because we all have them. We are human beings. We respond, we react, but now we are going to become resilient. Thank you for watching and reflecting with me, and rise above.